Hola, ¿qué tal amigos del canal de YouTube de Isa Blogs? Como ya saben, yo soy el papá de Isabela Blogs, Isa Blogs. En el video de hoy quiero hacer dos cosas. Quiero agradecer las reproducciones que han tenido los videos últimamente. Muchas gracias. Voy a hacerles un especial de los videos con más reproducciones. Vamos a ponerlo entre semana con los videos con más reproducciones de nuestro canal de Isa Blogs. Muchas gracias por todas esas reproducciones. Solamente faltan que se suscriban, ¿sí? Suscríbase, porque pues así nos colaboran mucho más para seguir subiendo mucho más contenido. Quiero agradecer las visualizaciones en países como Chile, en países como México, obvio Colombia y España. Muchas gracias por producirnos, por vernos. Bueno, de antemano también no se les olvide participar por este detalle, este sorteo, este premio que estaremos dando entre los suscriptores, de las personas que se suscriban al canal de YouTube Isa Blogs, participarán por ese premio. Se suscriben, mandan captura de pantalla a este número celular 312-471-7463, un nombre completo. Y ya, también no se lo olvide, pinchen en la campanita de notificaciones para que lo notifique cuando suba o estrene un nuevo video. Bueno, este video, el que viene a continuación, ojalá YouTube, pues según he investigado sobre este video, YouTube lo está bajando, ¿sí? Lo está cortando, lo está sacando de la plataforma. Entonces vamos a subirlo en videos de 5 minutos, mirando a ver si nos quitan el primero o el segundo. Bueno, que nos quiten alguno es algo muy delicado, por eso, según dicen, YouTube lo está bajando. Vamos a experimentar si es verdad. Así que no siendo más, vamos con este interesante video.
Dr. Judy Mikovits has been called one of the most accomplished scientists of her generation. Her 1991 doctoral thesis revolutionized the treatment of HIV/AIDS. At the height of her career, Dr. Mikovits published a blockbuster article in the journal Science. The controversial article sent shockwaves through the scientific community as it revealed that the common use of animal and human fetal tissues were unleashing devastating plagues of chronic diseases. For exposing their deadly secrets, the minions of Big Pharma waged war on Dr. Mikovits, destroying her good name, career, and personal life. Now, as the fate of nations hang in the balance, Dr. Mikovits is naming names of those behind the plague of corruption that places all human life in danger. So you made a discovery that conflicted with the agreed-upon narrative.
Correct.
And for that, they did everything in their powers to destroy your life.
Correct.
You were arrested,
Correct.
and then you were put under a gag order.
For 5 years, if I went on social media, if I said anything at all, they would find new evidence and put me back in jail. And it was one of the few times I cried, and it was because I knew there was no evidence the first time. And when you can unleash that kind of force to force someone into bankruptcy with a perfect credit score, and so that I couldn't bring my 97 witnesses, which included the heads, Tony Fauci, Ian Lipkin, the heads of the public health and HHS, who would have had to testify that we did absolutely nothing wrong.
And so what did they charge you with?
Nothing.
But you were in jail.
I was held in jail with no charges. I was called a fugitive from justice. No warrant, literally drugged me out of the house. Our neighbors are looking at what's going on here. They searched my house without a warrant, literally terrorized my husband for 5 days. They said, if you don't find the notebooks, if you don't find the material, which was not in my possession but planted in my house.
As if you took intellectual property from the laboratory. Is
Yes.
that correct?
It was intended to appear as if I took confidential material, names, and intellectual property from the laboratory. And I could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I didn't. Heads of our entire HHS colluded and destroyed my reputation, and the Department of Justice and the FBI sat on it and kept that case under seal, which means you can't say there's a case or your lawyers are held in contempt of court. So you can't even get a lawyer to defend you. So every single due process right was taken away from me, and to this day remains the same. I have no constitutional freedoms or rights.
Yet you sit here. I think a lot of people would probably have just taken the retirement out early, laid low, but you have decided to come forth when your gag order has been released to write a book called Plague of Corruption, Restoring Faith in the Promise of Science, and you are naming names.
Absolutely.
Apparently their attempt to silence you has failed, and I have to ask, how do you sit here with confidence to call out these great forces and not fear for your life as you leave this building?
Because if we don't stop this now, we can not only forget our republic and our freedom, but we can forget humanity, because we'll be killed by this agenda.
So Anthony Fauci,
My name is Dr. Tony Fauci. I'm the director of
the man who is heading the pandemic task force, was involved in a cover-up.
He directed the cover-up. And in fact, everybody else was paid off, and paid off big time. Millions of dollars in funding from Tony Fauci's organization, National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. These investigators that committed the fraud continue to this day to be paid big time by the NIAID.
And the whole world is listening to his advice for how to handle this current pandemic. How do we know that what he's saying is what we need to be learning?
What he's saying is absolute propaganda, and the same kind of propaganda that he's perpetrated to kill millions since 1984.
We know from this study quite clearly that there will be a delay in progression significantly greater than for individuals who do not take the drug.
It started really when I was 25 years old. I was part of the team that isolated HIV from the saliva and blood of the patients from France, where Luc Montagnier had originally isolated the virus.
Je pense qu'il y a toute une recherche à faire à ce niveau-là qui est négligée parce que
This was a confirmatory study, but Tony Fauci and Robert Gallo were working together then to spin the story in a different way. At that time, Dr. Rossetti was out of town, and Tony Fauci says, we understand that you have a paper in press, and we want a copy of it. And I said, yes, there's a paper in press, and it's confidential, and no, I will not give you a copy of it. He started screaming at me, then he said, give us the paper right now, or you'll be fired for insubordination. And I just said, I'm sure when Dr. Rossetti gets back, you can have the conversation. And so Frank comes back, several weeks later.
Bueno amigos, ha terminado la primera parte de este video. Vamos a ver si YouTube lo baja de la plataforma, pues va a volverlo a subir, o si definitivamente pues si YouTube nos castiga, pues no lo podríamos volver a subir. Muchas gracias por verlo, por llegar hasta el final. No se lo olvide, mañana la segunda parte del video. De antemano suscríbase, pinche la campanita de notificaciones y no se lo olvide participar por este premio. Requisitos en la caja de descripción. Así que amigos, no siendo más, nos vemos mañana en la segunda parte de este video.